Hi everybody and welcome to this episode of Hip Hip BarbaKnitStories. My name is Linda and I'm talking to you from Reykjavik, Iceland. I've been doing a few different things than normally because this is not a normal time for anybody, I think. I did a little vlog thing and I did an Instagram live and a YouTube live. But this time I'm doing just a regular podcast episode, catching you up on what I've been working on, what I finished, and stuff like that. So let's just jump right into it. I'm wearing one of my recent finished objects. This is the Höst cardigan by Ellie of Skeindeer knits. I'm gonna stand up so you can see it a little bit better. It has this beautiful lace body. I absolutely love it, and these are the buttons that I picked for it. I got them here in Iceland at the craft store that my mom works at. She got these for me and I just love them. I think they are beautiful. This pattern is extremely well written. It was a lot of fun. It's a different construction to what I'm used to. It's knit from the bottom up, and it has 4 sticks, one for the buttonhole here, buttonholes, button bands, like for the opening in the front, and then it has a stick for the neckline, and it also has sticks for the arms, and it's just beautifully shaped. It fits me perfectly. I really like how the sleeves fit. They're not like super tight, but they're not wide at all. They're perfect, and I love it. I've been wearing it quite a lot since I finished it. The yarn that I used is Ráðver. The yarn, it's absolutely beautiful. It's non-superwash. This is the yarn. It's 100% merino wool. And here is the info on it. And yeah, I really enjoyed making this little cardigan. I think it's absolutely stunning. It goes, I picked like a pretty neutral color. And I picked this gray, I think it's called graphite, because it goes with so many things. I'm just wearing black jeans at the moment, and it goes over almost all of my dresses as well. So yeah, I'm super happy with this one. The next thing that I finished, and I've shown this on my YouTube live and on my Instagram live, but I haven't really shown it on the podcast yet, is my finished painting brick shawl by Stephen West. And this is it. It's really big. It's wider than my wingspan for sure. And this was a lot of fun to make. So, what I did, it's written for a main color and then some contrasting colors. For my main color, I used 4 different shades of BFL from Ching Fibers in this beautiful gray fade. So it starts light and it ends in this almost black, beautiful hand-dyed BFL. And I just love this thing. And for the contrasting colors, I used only scraps stripes. I put up really detailed notes on how much yarn each stripe took, and I put in like the dyers and the colorways if I remembered them, but most of these were just tiny little nuggets from different kinds of projects that I had laying around. So most of them didn't even have labels anymore. So it was just a mix of all kinds of things, and I even threw in some mohair here and there, and it's just, I love this thing. I really, really adore it. It's just so pretty. It has all my favorite colors and then some. So yeah, this is definitely a new favorite. It's really warm and big and snuggly, and I just love wrapping it around me when I'm working at the home office because it gets kind of cold in there sometimes. And yeah, this is just lovely, and I really, really enjoyed making it. So Painting Bricks by Stephen West. And if you're on Instagram, you can follow the hashtag Slip Stitch Along, because Stephen is doing a knit along throughout April. Sorry. Where you can knit any of his patterns that has some slipped stitches in it. Most people are doing this Painting Brick shawl or the Fata stitch, and it's just so, the hashtag is just so full of inspiration, and I've seen so many beautiful versions of this shawl that, you know, it's just, I want to make all of them. I do, but you know, I won't. Probably not. Well, anyway, Painting Bricks by Stephen West. Beautiful, beautiful project. And now I'm gonna do a quick outfit change. Right, another new sweater. This is the No Frills sweater by Petite Knit or Petite Knits. It's quite a good fit, and the thing that I love the most about this is the yarns that I used. It's just, I have this thing with mixing mohair and tweedy yarns together. I don't know what it is, it just speaks to me, and I really, really like the effect that it makes. So the two yarns that I used is this. It's Soft Donegal from Retosaria Rosa Pomar. It's absolutely beautiful. Here is info. And then I used this mohair from Filcolana, which is called Tilia, and the color is 350. I think it's called Rust or something. I don't remember, but it's beautiful, and the mixing of these two is just, I love it. I think it's absolutely stunning. So this is how it turned out with the mixing of the tweed and the mohair together. Camera is blowing it up a little bit, the color. It's more accurate when I sit over here. But yeah, it's just a really plain raglan sweater. It's not as size inclusive as I would like to see designers doing with their patterns. But yeah, you can look up the pattern if you feel like it, but just know that it's not really size inclusive. So yeah, long sleeves, and I made it a little bit cropped. I mean, I'm wearing jeans today. Here's my waistline. So it just sits right on the top, or like on the bottom of the what do you call this, waistband of the jeans. So yeah, and I use it over just like a regular sweater with jeans and stuff, and I really love throwing these kinds of things over dresses because, well, living in Iceland, it's not always super warm. So when I'm wearing dresses, I usually have a layering piece. So now I have quite a few sweaters and cardigans that I can like throw over and just keep warm and be okay, even if I feel like wearing a dress and it's not super warm. I have one more finish, but I can't show it to you. It's one of the yarn along shawls for Stephen West for his for this year's yarn along. Very fun pattern, very potato chippy, kind of, you can watch movies or, you know, do other things while you knit it. I will post photos of it both on Ravelry and Instagram, and maybe talk about it a little bit more here once it has been published and everybody has gotten their yarn, but it won't be until, you know, in a few weeks. So yeah, that's all my finished objects. So I want to move on into what I've been working on. And I've been working on quite a few. So the next thing that I want to show you, the first whip, is a pair of socks that I'm making, and they are living in this beautiful project bag made by my friend Emily, and she gifted this to me at EYF last year. Wow, I had to think. I was like, yeah, last year. And this is one of my favorite project bags. It has these cute little kitties. I love this bag. It's so sweet. It has pink on the inside. And it's just so beautifully finished, and it just sits up super nice. I love this bag. Anyway, the socks that I'm working on, I have one done. It's for a friend of mine. So this is the first sock. I'm using self-striping. I think I cast on, he has pretty slim feet, size 41, but like not wide feet, but slim. I think I cast on 64, 68 maybe, I don't remember. And it's out of this fun self-striping, and then I threw in a super neon pink heel because I wanted to, and I did a heel flap and gusset, and I did a garter stitch heel because I really love the effect of it, and they hold up really nicely. And it's just like a gusset, and the toe is in this turquoise color. So I have one done, and I'm working on the second one. And these will not be matching at all. These started with the green, and these are starting with the black. So they are not matching. And I don't care about that, and neither does he. So this is what I have done. I'm gonna do a purple toe and maybe like an orange or something completely different for the heel. So it's gonna be kind of like self-striping socks with some scrappy effects as well, because I just love playing with that and colors and just making things a little bit fun and crazy. I sent him a photo of a few ideas that I had for like heels and toes, and they all kind of matched the yarn that I was working on. And I asked him if he wanted something specific, and he was like, probably just gray or something completely different, like totally out there. So I did the bright pink, and then I did something else for the toe. So we'll see if he likes them. I don't care. I have been working on my crochet blanket a little bit. I spent last Sunday working on it. And I really need to take a day and weave in some of the ends, but I haven't felt like it at all. So the last time that I showed this to you, I was here, and I've done just a little bit more. So I'm going to move the progress keeper again so that I can show it to you next time. There we go. Yeah, this thing is everything that I want and more. So the pattern that I'm using is the Knit Ripple from Attic 24. I just chained something. That's usually how I start my blankets. I make like a huge chain, then I set down the pattern until it has gotten to the width that I want, and then I just go. I hate counting chains. So like if it's for a specific bed or something in my house, I usually make a chain, make it as long as the bed, and then add like a ton to it. Because especially like if you're doing a ripple, you have the chain and then you set down the pattern and it goes in a little bit. This is not for a specific bed. I think that it's just gonna be like something that I can have here on the couch and just use and throw over whenever we are cold and chilly. So I'm gonna show you all the colors for a little bit of a close-up view. There we go. I can't get over how much I love this. All the yarns are leftovers from different projects and mini skeins. And the theme, like the color theme, is gray and yellow in a really, really broad sense. I mean, I have some like this. This is definitely more orange, but it has a little bit of yellow here and there. So it just went in. So it's not like only gray and yellow, it's like black and hand-dyed grays with a little bit of blues and greens, and it's just gray and yellow in a really, really broad sense. And I don't really think about the color placement, I just use whatever I feel like using next. I never do more. Sometimes I just do like one ripple. Sometimes I do three, like I do 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. I don't do more than 5 because I don't want like huge blocks of color in this blanket. I want it to be kind of flowy, and if I have more of the color, I would rather just use it again at a later stage in the blanket than have like a huge block of it on its own. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I just want it to be more flowy. So I decided not to do any more than 5 ripples of each color. Most of them are just like 2 or 3, but yeah, it's just how I like it. I'm also working on a test knit and I got permission to show this to you. uh, during Easter, I was on Instagram, and Ellie of Skeindeer Knits was showing off a beautiful yoke that she's working on. The main color was yellow and the contrasting color was white, and I was like, oh, I've always wanted to do a sweater or a cardigan or like something with a yellow main color and a white yoke. And she was like, oh, just, you know, do this pattern when it comes out. I was like, maybe you need a tester? And she did. So I kind of like sneaked my way into it. And I have finished the yoke. And I'm working on the body, but I set it aside just for a little bit because the pattern is not done. She's still working on it, and she hasn't really made up her mind on exactly how she wants it to be. So she said that I could finish the yoke and then just put it aside for a little bit, and that's what I did. The yoke went so fast, I was just like, boom, and it was just done. I love it. It's beautiful. Look at this. And it's a cardigan. I'm gonna stick this thing. So you can see the stick stitches here in the center. Right here. This is where I'm gonna put in my stick. I'll try, if I remember. Usually I'm so excited when I get to this point that I kind of, oh, I should like make a video and blah blah blah, and then I'm so excited that I just do it and it's done. I'll try my best to like record a little video on how I stick things. I'm gonna do a crochet stick, I think. I'm not gonna use the sewing machine. I'm just gonna do a crochet stick. And yeah. And let me talk about the yarn for a little bit. The yarn that I'm using is Skeindeer from the Faroe Islands. This is 2-ply. It comes in 1-ply, 2-ply, 3-ply, and 5-ply. And maybe even more. I don't remember. You can look it up on Ravelry. It's a beautiful non-superwash wool. It comes in beautiful gray and brown tones, and then just a few colors. It doesn't come in many colors. They don't dye a lot of it, but you know, it comes in yellow. And I love this yellow. I think it's stunning. So when she told me the weight of the yarn and like the gauge for the pattern, I was like, okay, I'm gonna use Skeindeer. And Skeindeer it's rustic. It's not super scratchy, but it has kind of a, I don't know. I'm gonna show you one thing. So when you're knitting with it, I'm gonna show you the stockinette portion of it. See, it doesn't really look that even. You know what I mean? It's kind of, you're kind of like, when you're knitting with it, you're just like, oh, it's not that even, and I don't know how it's going to turn out, and blah blah blah. And then when you wash it, it blooms. Washing a finished garment out of Skeindeer is one of the most satisfying things that I know. I remember the first thing that I made from Skeindeer, I was working with it and I was just like, ooh, I don't know about this yarn. And then I washed it and it was just magic. So this is a washed piece of, well, it's a gauge swatch basically. But this is what it looks like after you wash it. So you can see the difference. Let me see if I can. Unwashed, unwashed. You see it? So yeah, washing Skeindeer is magic. So this is all gonna like even out and be just as smooth and beautiful as this. Yay! So I'm super excited about this. Yeah, so these are the two colors, yellow and this. It's kind of like an oatmeal color. It's not completely white, but it's kind of like an oatmeal. It's beautiful. And yeah, I love this project and I'm super excited about it. So that's one thing. This is what it looks like now. Spread it out a little bit. Oh, I am in love with this. And it's so fun to make. Just started a new section right. Whoop. Just started a new section right here. And this is giving me all the feels. If you're feeling a little blue, which is completely understandable given the situation, try casting on something super colorful and just play with your yarns and your colors. At least for me, it works. So yeah, this is it. The bottom hem rolls up quite a bit. See? I think it's gonna be okay, you know, after I wash and block it, but if not, I'll just cut it off and make it longer or something. I'll figure it out. So for this, I am using all the Westwool that Stephen gave me. Bicycle. And some Undercover Otter. I have some insane neon color pops from Undercover Otter as well. They are stunning and go really well with the more muted colors of Westwool. So I have this huge bag. So I'm not planning out the colors, I'm just using whatever I feel like using at any given moment. So for this section I wanted super high contrast, so I did like dark blue and white. Caritas picked these two, I think, or these two maybe. Here's some gray and like this beautiful grass green that I love. Here's some more rust and neon pink. And it's just, I'm just doing whatever I feel like doing. Yeah, the last project. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have noticed that I was feeling extremely vulnerable and sad and at a really, really weird place on Friday. It had to do with the whole situation, and it also had to do with the grieving process that I'm going through, and I was just not in a good place. This happens, totally normal, but I needed to feel better because I was just not in a good place. Last summer, like late summer or early autumn, my dear and beautiful friend Amy from BarbaKnit sent me a little care package. She was about to release her beautiful cast merino base, and she sent me some of it for me to try out. The yarn is mind-blowingly beautiful, and working with it is such a luxury. It's pretty spectacular. So this is the yarn in the cast merino base. BarbaKnit. The mix is 75% merino, 15% cashmere, and 10% nylon. And it's, I can't even describe how incredible it is to work with this yarn. So yeah, it's definitely a luxury. I'm using 2 colors, and I start, maybe I should talk about what I started. I started a new sweater, a new colorworked yoke sweater. It's called Azor, A-Z-O-R, Azor, by Orlane Succe, S-U-C-C-H-E. And I decided that this would be my main color. This one is called Paon, P-A-O-N, and this is the contrast color. It's called Rust. Incredibly beautiful. And I am officially obsessed with working on my sweater, and I'm almost done with the yoke. I started this, like I said, on Friday evening. I think I have about 7 or 8 rows of the yoke to go, or something. Maybe fewer than that, but I have a few rows to go of the yoke. So, let's see. This is it. Oh, it's blowing out. This is a more accurate representation of the colors, and it's just giving me all the good feelings. I love this. I've made one change already on this. So you cast on a certain amount of stitches, and then you do the yoke and blah blah blah, and you finish the sweater, and then you're supposed to go back and pick up for the neckline, like for the ribbing on the neckline. I just casted on the number of stitches for the neckline, did the ribbing, and then increased and started the pattern for the yoke, because I don't really like going back and picking up, and and I just want the neckline to be finished so that I can see how the fit is as I work on it. So yeah, that's the only thing that I changed. It has some short row shaping in the back, so you can see the back is higher than the front. This is the back, this is the front. It has more rows here, and yeah, obsessed. I will definitely finish the yoke today, for sure. Oh, I dropped the stitch. There we go. So yeah, like I said, this project is giving me all the feelings, all the good feelings. Yeah, I just love it. And Amy, thank you so much. I don't know if you watched this, but thank you so much for this beautiful gift. I had been wondering what to make with it for the longest time. I was like going back and forth, like maybe I should make like a beautiful, huge brioche something. I didn't know. It just needed to be something perfect. And this colorwork yoke is just something that I've wanted to do for a really long time. I love the fit of it. It's a little bit oversized. It has some positive ease. And it was just exactly what I needed to lift my spirits a little bit. And I can just feel when I'm knitting with this yarn, because it's so luxurious and it's just so beautiful. I can just feel myself knitting slower, just like feeling every stitch, kind of. It's just yarngasm in every stitch, I'm telling you. So that's it for the regular knitting content. I put up like ask me anything kind of thing on Instagram, and I'm gonna answer some of your questions. So this is just a quick Q&A section here. And then in the end, I'm gonna insert like a little video of a walk that me and Caritas took yesterday because the weather was absolutely beautiful, and yeah, just showing you a little bit of our surroundings. Okay, I have a few questions. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do all of them, but we'll see. Let me see. Okay, I got a question about my cat, Baldur. Where I got him and if he has like a morning routine. Well, my best friend Rosa, she used to work for a non-profit organization for feral cats, like cats that live in the wild, where they feed them, give them, like make little shelters for them for winter, and yeah, bring them food, and if they can, they try to catch them, neuter them, and then release them again if they're grown-ups. But if they find litters, if they find kittens, they try to get the kittens and house train them, like make them familiar with humans. And he was one of 3 that was found as a litter, and Rosa took them in and nurtured them and like made them super friendly and used to humans. She has his brother, his name is Ketill, and I have Baldur, and then they had a sister that also has a loving home. So yeah, that's how I got him. He's definitely a character. I love him to death. He's the funniest cat that I don't know, he's so interesting, and he does cartwheels. Caritas is definitely his favorite human. He loves me as well, but he adores Caritas. But he's just so loving and so nice and such a rascal. He's just, yeah. I have to hide my yarn. Like, I have to have everything in sealed project bags because he steals yarn and plays with it and spreads it all over the house if I'm not careful with the yarn. And as far as his morning routine, he's usually the first one to get up. And if he can hear that we are awake and still in our beds, he will go to our doors, because we both sleep with our doors closed. For me, it's because I'm a super light sleeper and I need just peace and quiet. Anyway, he goes to our doors and he starts scratching the door, and he's like, "Get up, get up, get up!" And he's like meowing. So he's a little alarm clock. Then he follows us around. He's super excited that we are up. He pays close attention to like what we are doing, like brushing our teeth, and combing our hair, and dressing and getting ready. And I usually shower in the evening, but sometimes I take showers in the morning, and it doesn't matter when I shower. The minute that I'm out of the shower, he's in the shower playing with like the water in the bottom of the shower. And if something is dripping somewhere, like from the shower head or something, he loves it. He's just like playing with it. So yeah, he's quite a character, and we adore this cat. He's amazing. I was asked about my favorite places in Iceland. Well, there's so many. I mean, it's a beautiful place, and it's not that big, so you don't have to travel very far. to get into nature. Like if you have a car and you're in the city center, you only have to drive for like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes to like get out in nature. A beautiful place that I love visiting up north is called Ásbyrgi and Hljóðaklettar. Try saying that 5 times fast. It's stunning up there. It's a national park and it's just, oh, it's so beautiful. One of the most interesting things that I've done like in my entire life was when we had the eruption of when we had the eruption of Fimmvörðuháls. It was a very like visitors friendly type of eruption, meaning that you could go up there and like actually get pretty close to the eruption itself. It wasn't, I mean, of course there were some areas you couldn't go to, but at a safe distance you could just see the eruption. So I got the opportunity to go on a jeep, cross the glacier and drive all the way up to the eruption. And that was one of the most mind-blowing experiences that I've ever done in my life. We also have like a man-made ice cave that I've been to, which is super interesting. It's on Langjökull. Driving the south coast is stunning. Snæfellsnes is full of incredible places. Yeah, there are so many places. Visiting Dettifoss is definitely a mind-blowing experience. It's one of the most, I think it's the most powerful waterfall in Europe. It's huge and aggressive, and just the noise that it makes, and it's just, you can just feel the power of nature, and that's amazing. I haven't done much traveling off the west, like the West Fjords. That's something that I really want to do. And I've never been to the Vestmannaeyjar, the Vestman Islands, which are they are a little bit south of Iceland. I've never been there, but I really want to go there. That's also like a volcanic place. Yeah, so that's on my bucket list for sure. I was asked how I get rid of like my stash. Like I talked about it, I think on my Instagram live, that I try to go over my stash like twice a year and go through it, and if something has been like lingering forever and it doesn't speak to me anymore, I try to get rid of it. So far I have gifted it both to like friends, family members, and also I donated quite a lot of wool and cotton to the Red Cross, and I've donated to schools, old people's home, like like assisted living for, yeah, I've donated quite a lot of yarn. And sometimes I just use, we have like a few Facebook groups here in Iceland where you can trade or sell your yarn. So I use that as well. So that's usually how I get rid of the stash that I've decided that I'm not going to use. I've seen some people do sales on Instagram. I've never done that, but maybe I will someday. I don't know. Not anytime soon though, but yeah, I've usually gotten rid of everything just by donating it or selling it at like a reduced price through the Facebook groups. So yeah, it's usually how it goes. I was asked about tips for knitting lace. I haven't done like a huge amount of lace knitting, some, and my first and probably most crucial tip on knitting lace is highlight the rows that you've already done, or like use a tape or a post-it note or something, you know, on your pattern to mark the row that you're working on, and just remember to always move it so you don't knit the same row twice. Learn how to read your knitting, and also put in a lifeline. Like, I know it takes a little bit of time. There are some great YouTube videos. I will try to find like a good one and put the link down below. Put in a lifeline, like every 5-10 rows, depends on how confident you are in knitting lace, but definitely put in a lifeline. So if you have to frog lace, you don't have to do it like stitch by stitch. You can just pull your knitting, like your needle out, and frog down to your lifeline. Now, if you don't know what a lifeline is, using dental floss is great because it's slippery and it's really strong. It doesn't break. You just thread it through your knitting. So if you have to frog, if your lifeline is here and you've done like, let's say 5 rows, and you made like a huge boo-boo somewhere, and you're like, oh yeah, I have to go back, you can just pull the needle out, pull your yarn and frog it, and you have the live stitches on your lifeline. Then you can just thread your needle through again and go. So use the lifeline. That's probably my first tip. And also, of course, learning how to read your knitting is especially crucial when you're doing lace. So I was also asked if I keep my mistakes or if I go back and frog them, if my projects are perfect or like error-free. They absolutely are not error-free. They are not perfect. And this is definitely, I think, a personal thing. Sometimes I make mistakes and I'm like I'm missing a stitch or something. Like my counts are off. I just throw it in there, like at the end of the shawl or at the beginning of the shawl. Or if I forgot an increase, like a raglan increase, I just do it on the next row. Or, you know, if it's something easy like that and like something that nobody's gonna notice, I just throw it in there. It's fine. If I drop a stitch, I usually just crochet it back up. But if it's like a huge mistake and if it bothers me, I go back and fix it. But I think it's definitely a personal thing. Like if it's just like staring at you and you can't get over it, I would recommend that you go back and fix it, because if you have a finished project and the mistake is still like staring you in the face, you're not going to use it. It's going to bother you. So if you spot it in time and you can go back and fix it, I always recommend that you do it, so that you will get use out of the thing that you're making. If it's something minor, I just leave it in. I don't bother with it. So yeah, it's definitely a personal thing, I think. I was asked about my favorite knitting needles. I would definitely say Chaya Goose. The metal ones, they are basically the only things that I use nowadays. I do use Haya needles as well, but the Chaya Goose are my go-to and my favorites. Best coffee place to knit. I have 2 favorite places. One of them is Reykjavík Roasters, and one of them is a place called Palette in Hafnarfjörður. I love those 2 places. They are friendly. Their coffee is exceptional, and they just the staff is super friendly, and you can just sit and knit, and like, of course, you buy something. And I try to, like, I don't like buy 1 cup of coffee and then sit there for like 6 hours. I think that's kind of rude, because those places have to make a living. So they both of these places have coffee and tea and soft drinks, and like orange juice and apple juice and stuff, and they have amazing snacks as well, like pastries and sourdough bread with beautiful toppings, and Palette has these amazing homemade scones, like British scones, and they're so good. So I usually don't eat before I go, and try to support their business by actually buying some food as well. And yeah, so those 2 places, Reykjavik Roasters and Palette in Hafnarfjörður. I was also asked about the knitting community in Iceland. I don't really know how to answer this, like how deep I should go into this question. I would say that it's a big community, especially like if you go like per capita or something. Almost everybody knows how to knit or has knitted at some point in their life, because we are all taught how to knit in school. I think it's a huge community, and I think it's even bigger than I know, because a lot of knitters are still just at home knitting on their own. They're not really going out and like getting to know other knitters, which is one of the perks of the knitting community, for me at least. I'm a pretty social person. I mean, I like my downtime and alone time, but I love knitting with other people. It's really inspirational to me. We have quite a lot of designers. We have a lot of hand dyers. We of course have Lopi, our local unique Icelandic wool. There are classes. There are so many knitting shops, and they're all like exceptionally good. They all have like their own unique style, but they are just amazing. Super friendly and helpful staff, and yeah, I think it's a big community, and there are some like knitting groups that you can attend. There are quite a lot of them actually. Like if I didn't have a regular job, like a 9 to 5 every weekday kind of job, I could definitely go to a knit group every single day if I wanted to. So yeah, there are a lot of open like knit nights and stuff at any time of day that you can attend to as often or as seldom as you want. So yeah, it's a big and thriving community. A lot of inspiration, a lot of adventurous knitters, I would say. I don't think people are, it has changed quite a lot, like in the last 10 years or so. And I think people are getting less and less afraid of like doing their own thing. Having a pattern and like following it, but not completely. Like doing their own twists on it, and yeah. It's good. I really like the knitting community here in Iceland. So yeah, I hope that answered your question at least a little bit. I was also asked like on my inspiration of colors, where it comes from, what inspires me, how I pick my colors, and how I plan my colors, or like the color placement. My inspiration basically comes, I don't know, I think it comes from my environment and mostly from my head. Usually when I'm looking at patterns on Ravelry. I have my own, like I'm gonna sound like a crazy person, but I usually see it in my mind the way that I want it, just by looking at the pattern or like photos. I often go through the projects that have already been made, and I favorite like maybe some of them that have something that's either helpful or inspiring to me, and then I just build on top of that kind of. I usually have like a pretty clean slate when I start, and then I just like add to it. I open up my stash cabinet, and I get a lot of inspiration from that because I love my stash. It's beautiful. And I really love playing with colors, and I especially love throwing in scraps and using my yarn to the fullest as much as I can. I think the colors and the light, especially the light in Iceland, it changes quite a lot. Our golden hour is beautiful and stunning, and it changes quite a lot like on the season, and it changes quite a lot, like if there's snow on the ground or not. The twilight, it's just, yeah, the light, the natural light and sun and darkness and all of that is really inspiring to me. Nature, the changing of the seasons, photography, street art like graffiti and stuff has always spoken to me quite a bit. And yeah, my stash, yeah, just like the things that I have around me. I'm pretty much an earthy kind of person. I like wood, I like natural stuff, but I also like super bright and powerful pops here and there as well. That's also, and like a mix of those two is something that really speaks to me. What else? Yeah, I pull out what I think I want to use and just go from that. I usually have like a huge pile of yarn, and I'm like, I'm gonna work with this, and then it changes throughout the project. I don't really do color placement. It's more based on a feeling, like, oh, I'm sick of this color, I'm gonna throw in something else, or oh, this would look really, really good marled with this, or it's something, it's kind of like a flow. I don't know, sometimes I think, oh, this must be how painters feel when they're like, it's something that just, it comes from within. It doesn't really come from here, it more comes from here. And it's just something that, just don't be afraid of it. Just let it come. If your project and your soul is like saying, try this or do that or see how this turns out, and just try it. Just go for it. It's, yeah, I don't know how to explain it better than this. It's something that just comes. And it didn't always be like that. It's something that I think I've trained myself to do without it being something that I feel like I have to do, or it just, now it's more of a flow kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know if this answered your question, but yeah, it's definitely something internal that comes out, and I really enjoy it. It's, yeah, it does a lot for me, playing with color and texture as well. So yeah, I hope that answered something. I don't know. Let me see. Dream knitting holiday. Oh, I would love it if I could, like, if I won all the money. Because I need money to make this happen. I would invite all my friends from all over the world, rent a big hotel in the countryside of Iceland, hire an amazing chef, have like a marketplace with all the hand dyers and bag makers and like all the makers of Iceland. They would of course also be able to attend this retreat or holiday, and I would just like invite, I don't know, all the people that I care about to come here and spend some time in my country, getting to know my knitting friends and the place that I call home, basically. And just have like a long weekend. I don't know if I would have classes or something, maybe a few. And just, yeah. Nobody would have to think about like cooking or, oh, what should we have for dinner? Food would just come to us, so we could just like chill and knit and just get to know each other. I think it would be amazing. So yeah, that would be my holiday, to bring my friends here. Yeah, I think that would be super cool. So sign up below. No, I'm kidding. I don't have the money to do this, but maybe one day if I become a millionaire. Okay, if I could be one of my knitting heroes for a day, which 5 people would you choose and why? Wow. That's a difficult question. I think I would love to be Stephen for a day, because I just want to be inside of his mind for a little bit, because his mind boggles me. I want to know how he gets all of his ideas and executes them as fast as he does. Like, I would love to be Stephen on one of these days where he gets ideas for like 15 projects and starts all of them and plans them out. Yeah. I would like to be Nancy Merchant as well and get all her amazing technical knitting knowledge into my brain. Nancy for sure. Olga Jassy as well. I think she is incredible. I love her 3D knitting and like, yeah. Who else? Amy of La Bien-Aimée. I would love to like be in her dye studio and see how, like, get to know how she makes color and how she sees color. And who else? Who's the 5th person? I'm not gonna go with a knitter. I'm gonna go with Prince. Because music is also a huge part of my life. I would love to have been Prince in his prime, working at Paisley Park and recording with amazing artists, and yeah, just getting to know his thought process and what inspired him and how he functioned. He was a weirdo, but Still love him. So yeah, those would be my 5 people, I think. So yeah, I think that's it for today. There's a little video of the walk that me and Caritas took yesterday. I hope you enjoy it. It's spring. Well, actually it was the first day of summer on Thursday, which doesn't make sense at all. I mean, in other parts of the world, first day of summer is in May or June, but here way up north it's in April. Don't ask me why. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me, but yeah. Anyway, I will talk to you later and hopefully be back pretty soon. I have a few ideas. I also got like suggestions of doing a stash tour, and I'm actually considering doing it. And then I got show your West knits. So maybe I will do like a podcast special on all my West knits. Well, the ones that I still have. So yeah, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye!